that God's strength is far from me if I feel weakness.
Right.
It's not a sign that I'm not as I ought to be if my soul feels pressed in on sometimes. It's not a sign that I'm not as I ought to be. The moment I think it's a sign that I'm not as I ought to be, I'm now going to be enlisting my own ability to try to fix it.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, we just use me as an example. And if nobody else has felt pressed in on or felt weakness, then you can just take the message and throw it in the garbage can. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm just going to be honest. If you find yourself saying, yeah, that's me, I think you're deceived. Because Jesus is God, and when he came as a human being, he did feel that.
Yes.
He did feel it. If you say he didn't feel it, then you're saying he can't be our high priest. Because one of the qualifications to be the high priest of a person is you have to be able to have experienced everything they experienced. Okay? So if I've experienced weakness and feeling pressed in on, the only way Jesus could be a compassionate high priest is if he felt the same thing.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So the point of the message is, how is my soul going to be saved from the lie that there's something wrong with me when I feel weak or my soul feels subverted? What's going to save me from that? The first thing that's going to save me from that is see that Jesus himself felt that way.
Right.
Why is that going to save me from it? Because I know Jesus is without sin. And if he's without sin and he felt those things, it can't be a sign that I'm in sin or I'm in unbelief if I feel those things. What else is it going to tell me? I know that Jesus was never separated from God or God's strength. So when I see that Jesus felt those things and it wasn't a sign that he was separated from God, it tells me that when I feel those things, it's not a sign that I'm separated from God. And so what happens is, those things bring forth rest in your soul when you're in the midst of feeling weakness. And you go from feeling weakness, like for me, it would be the feeling of weakness, a subverted soul. Then it would quickly turn from a subverted soul to despair, to fear, and then unto the bondage to the flesh. Because now once the despair and fear came, I would then start trusting in my flesh, and then that would bring forth destruction in my life. Okay? So what happened for me is, in the midst of weakness, God came and discerned my feelings by revealing Christ in me. And he showed me what I was experiencing in Jesus. So I identified with Jesus, and I saw what was going on in Jesus. And I saw that tell me about what I was going through. And all of a sudden, it made me see that feeling weakness wasn't a sign that I wasn't as I ought to be. It made me see that it wasn't a sign that I was in unbelief. It made me see that it wasn't a sign that God's strength was far from me. And so what happened was, that brought calmness to my soul, even in the midst of feeling weakness. And it caused me to engage with God, instead of engaging with my own ability. Right? And so what happened is it lessened the sting. You guys all in here felt your soul feel subverted before?
Absolutely.
It felt kind of a sting, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened is, through seeing myself in the face of Jesus, what's happened is that has taken away the sting of feeling weakness. It's taken away the sting of feeling pressed in on. It's taken away the sting of my soul feeling subverted. And instead of anxiety coming in that place, instead of despair coming unto fear and then unto bondage, what's happened is in that place, that feeling of weakness has now, God's come and filled me with a hope. And that hope now has brought forth joy and strength in the midst of feeling weakness. Right?
Yes.
It talks about Abraham, whose hope, right, wasn't in himself, but it was in God.
Right.
He received strength. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?